So we need to be completely honest about A'ja Wilson here. Because these are some of the dumbest, conversations ever in sport is surrounding A'ja Wilson. We gotta be completely honest here. And these are conversations and topics that should never have to be said. These are arguments that should never have to be made. But we gotta do it because, unfortunately, that's just the way things are right now, it seems. You have to talk about whether or not A'ja Wilson is better than freaking NBA players. Like, what is going on? So, first topic is the elephant in the room. Are we all misogynists for saying A'ja Wilson is not an NBA level player? And yes, that is something we have to talk about. Because apparently that's now the thing. That's now the thing that people are saying. Because yes, A'ja Wilson said that she would beat Josh Hart in a 1v1. At the same time, like, look, A'ja Wilson has every right to believe she could beat Josh Hart in a 1v1. She couldn't, but, like, I think some of the top sports people in the world have irrational confidence. That's fine. But at the same time, like, apparently, saying Josh Hart would 21-0 A'ja Wilson, which is a fact, is now misogynist. No, like, it's dumb. Like, Serena Williams had that type of confidence when she was first coming up. She played against somebody, like, and ranked, like, 200 in the world who said he was barely trying and he beat her 6-love. And that's fine. That's fine. Like, Serena Williams is one of the most impactful tennis players of all time. Serena Williams, like, there's a reason why sports are split. And, like, it's fine to say that. But, like, we have this whole post going viral from Lily. And look, like Lily knows ball. Like, her dad's Lamont Murray. Her dad played in the league. I just don't understand what this came from. It's like, ironic how men react to tweet the very, and proved the very tweet. Like, they debate all day whether a man can beat a man regardless of biology. Men debate all day whether a man can beat a man regardless of biology based on talent, achievement, or personal abilities. What? Like, nobody's arguing that I could beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like, we were, like, based on talent rather than biology. Nobody's arguing that Nate Robinson can beat LeBron James. And Nate Robinson's a freak of a freak athlete. Like, there are things. It's like nobody's going to argue that, you know, let me just, who's 5'10"? Facundo Campazzo is going to beat LeBron James. The professor is more talented than Shaq, has more basketball ability than Shaq. But the professor was so far, like, I don't even think he ever played pro ball. He had more basketball ability than Shaq. Obviously, like, size is everything. It's the reason why if you're a 7-footer, you have a 25% chance of making the freaking NBA. Like, I don't understand how this becomes a whole thing about, you know, misogyny and all this stuff when it's just talking basketball. It's just crazy. And then, obviously, there's people being like, nobody can say with a straight face that A'ja Wilson can't beat Derek White. The same Derek White that literally made the Olympic team over Jaylen Brown and played more than Jason Tatum. And you might say, oh, Tatum should have played more when they both played. Tatum was better. And then you see this type of stuff. Meanwhile, this gonna be the view when they try to dunk on her. Because nobody has literally said, like, oh yeah, you know, these players are, like, more skilled. By the way, like, look, A'ja Wilson she's so good in the WNBA. And I do want to make this point. She's so good in the WNBA because she has guard skills, she is 6'4", and she is an elite shot blocker with a good wingspan, and she's really strong. She's an extremely strong player for a woman. And, like, by guard skills, like, she doesn't have a good handle for a guard. She's got a good handle for a center. Like, that's pretty much it. Whereas if you put her up against an NBA player, she is at a physical disadvantage and at a huge skill disadvantage. People are like, oh yeah, you know, A'ja Wilson's so skilled. She's not Enrique. Like, if A'ja Wilson was doing Enrique type of stuff, it's one thing. But like, if you put A'ja Wilson up against an NBA player, she loses every single one of her physical advantages. And as far as her skill set goes, she does not have a better skill set than any 6'4" player playing any level of college basketball higher than D3. Or any scholarship player. She might be better than a walk-on. And that's just the reality situation. A'ja Wilson could go down as the best female basketball player of all time. A'ja Wilson is going to be a Hall of Famer. A'ja Wilson is going to have one of probably the 200 biggest impacts on the sport of basketball in the history of basketball, men or women. And that's a fact. Like, she is going to be a multi-millionaire. She's going to go down as one of the greats. And she's playing in an era where they can actually make some money. So it's not like some of the other greats where they're kind of struggling to get by. Now, she'll be making good money. She deserved the Nike deal. I'm not going to question that. But, like, in this, people are calling out this game right here. She blocked a 5'10" comedian while Ronnie 2K is trailing the play. And by the way, it's like this again, if that was the case, the leagues would separate. I'd almost take any NBA player against her and paint 10 out of 10 times. I want to see if I can find the box score for this game. If you guys don't know, yeah, here. In this game right here, she, in 20 minutes, so she played the third most minutes on her team. She had 11 points. She got outscored by Famous Los and Jay Williams, who retired, who played one season in the NBA and retired nearly 20 years before this. And then for the other team, Ray Allen, 5 years after retiring, put up 24. And then Quavo had 27. Quavo had 27. And again, Quavo had 9 boards. Quavo out-rebounded A'ja Wilson and outplayed A'ja Wilson in a game. And I get it, this is 2019, A'ja Wilson's gotten better. But that's Quavo. Like, that's not... And this is not saying that A'ja Wilson's not unbelievable. And I think this diminishes these players. And like, even when you ask Kelsey Plum said it right. And she was like, oh, could you beat an NBA player? And she was like, well, if we were doing a shooting competition or we were doing a skills workout, I think I can put it up to anybody. Which I think is true. I think anyone who watches someone like Enrique Agumbawale play could say, okay, yeah, with her handle, the shots she makes, skill-wise, you know what, yeah. Like, she could do it in a workout compared to that. But there are 5'9" dudes. There are 5'8", 5'9" dudes playing all over the world. They're playing all levels of college ball. That in workouts could do that. And that's fine. They're not NBA players. A lot of the time, the big separator is size. The big separator between NBA and college, as much as anything, is the size and athleticism. Like, that's the biggest separator between at every level of sport. Size, athleticism, and like strength and S&C. As much as anything, they are as big separators as anything in any level of sport. And that's when it comes to men's and women's. And then if you add in also the biology, like it kind of matters. And it's such a dumb conversation to have because it takes away from the fact that A'ja Wilson is probably the best female basketball player in the world right now. I really rate Fee Collier. I really, really rate Nafise Collier. So I'm not going to go out there and say A'ja is better. I think she's the best scorer. I think she's the best scorer. I think Stewie is a debate as well. I don't think Caitlin Clark's a debate yet, but if you predict Caitlin Clark in the next year will be in the debate, that's one thing. But they're kind of the big four, in my opinion. And then there's also the ridiculous take that, A'ja Wilson is the face of the league and the biggest draw in the WNBA. So, WNBA trading cards. I also saw a post. I don't know how real it is, so I'm just going to mention it. I think I saw someone post it, and this post has been deleted. And it was talking about the favorite players in all the states, and it was like Nevada, their favorite team and player, their favorite team, the Aces, favorite player, Caitlin Clark. I also saw this. So the December Elite WNBA cards results. So A'ja Wilson, one of her 1-of-1 cards sold on auction for $915. Breanna, 2,000. Caitlin Clark, a 1 of 5 card, 12,000. 1 of 1, 13,000. And something like $219,000 worth of cards were sold. 216,000 worth of those cards were just of Caitlin Clark. So it's like, I think trying to argue that she's the face of the league is crazy. Like, it's like arguing that when Kobe was at his peak, let's just say like mid 2000s when, you know, Kobe was doing his thing, but a lot of people thought, you know, Tim Duncan, he was winning rings, he was doing all this other stuff. A lot of people argued Tim Duncan was better. It's like arguing that Tim Duncan was the face of the NBA. And I'm not even going to compare. Actually, you know what? Sorry. It's like arguing Joel Embiid's the freaking face of the NBA. Because a lot of people are calling AJ Wilson Tim Duncan. AJ Wilson plays nothing like Tim Duncan. If he's a Collier, plays like Tim Duncan. AJ Wilson plays like if Joel Embiid never got hurt. If he played 82 games a year. And that's not a knock on AJ Wilson. If Joel Embiid played 82 games a year, he'd be unbelievable. Like, we all know that. As much as people don't like Embiid, if he played 82 games a year, that would be absolutely crazy. But yeah, that's the video. We just got to be completely honest about AJ Wilson, because the talk of her being better than NBA players kind of just diminishes everything. Like, if you're asking me, could WNBA players beat NBA players in shooting contests? Yeah, I think Sabrina Ionescu would have won the NBA 3-point contest. I think the Sabrina Caitlin Clark duo could very well beat whoever the NBA put out. But in a 1v1, and if you said the 1v1 had to be jump shots or no contact was allowed, I still think it's a near impossibility, but that changes things. But I'm sorry, a little bit of a drop to the shoulder into the chest of any of these WNBA players, they're just not going to be able to be strong enough to compete with. Especially the fact people said Josh Hart. The man literally made an all-defensive team in the NBA. AJ Wilson puts the ball on the floor. AJ Wilson tries to back down Josh Hart. Josh Hart doesn't move. AJ Wilson puts the ball on the floor. Josh Hart tips it away. And look, AJ Wilson is 100% good enough. Like, at my best as an individual, AJ Wilson would have beat me. She would beat me in a 1v1. Like, I am, 6'1", 6'7" wingspan. At my playing shape, I was like 200. Could dunk, was a 11 flat-ish 100 meter runner, and then could throw nearly 60-foot shot put in high school. So, like, physically, I'd have the advantage, but AJ Wilson's just better at basketball than I would have been. I think there were WNBA players at my best that I would have beaten, but not the likes of AJ Wilson. But I was a D3 type guy. Like, if I went to the States, I'm a D3 guy. And I do think that she's better than guys, some rotation players at D3. Which is, the fact that I think I can say that statement sums up just how good AJ Wilson is. But, like, she's not better than a scholarship athlete in college, a single one. She's not better than a single NBA G League player. And doesn't change the fact that she's more important and done more in basketball than every single one of them. But I think trying to make the argument that she's better than them is almost disrespectful to Aja, because it's something that she could never win, and she's just won a unanimous MVP. And the fact that this is now the conversation, because if you talk facts, it's misogyny. Just like saying that Angel Reese is bad at layups is racist, apparently. Angel Reese sucks at making layups. I'm just going to say that. No matter what people want to say about me online, I don't give a damn. Angel Reese is bad at making layups. Caitlin Clark's really bad at navigating screens. Camila Cardoso is too not aggressive in getting the ball, and she kind of just drifts in and out of games. Kelsey Mitchell, when she starts to go into her ISO, does too much dumb stuff. Nobody knows if Lexi Hull's going to be good or not, whether it was a hot streak or whether she's going to be a good WNBA player for a while. Kate Martin might not be ever good enough to be a rotational WNBA player. Like, if you want me to criticize, I can criticize every single WNBA player for something. Satu's motor isn't high enough and she's injured all the time. Stewie couldn't shoot for shit last year. Sabrina Ionescu, what the hell was that game 5? But yeah, like, I don't know, apparently, like, Is that sexist? Then I can do the same thing talking about NBA players. Basketball is basketball. And when we hijack basketball conversations by saying ridiculous stuff and then accusing people of being something for talking about basketball, that's where we lose things. And obviously, the Jeff T clip, or the clip from that podcast where they're talking about Angel, was disgusting. But like, obviously, AJ Wilson's not better than Josh Hart.